This is your host, Jane Hales, and welcome to today's episode of .Team Talks, a podcast all about driving transformative growth through innovative and everyday automation solutions. Let's dive in and start to tame your tech today. The process puzzle: decoding efficiency in business operations, cracking the code to smarter workflows and success. Let's begin the journey.
I always think of it like, this hasn't worked, why hasn't it worked? You can come up with all the stuff that's in a change management framework.
So out of interest, there's a lot of coaching, planning, training that you've just mentioned, change management, versus the actual execution of the tech part, putting it in place for people. What balance of time would you say you spend on a typical project, the training, compared to the actual execution of the tech element?
A good question. Our most popular offer is a front-end traditional consulting assessment, because it's a lot easier to find out how an organisation's working together and then recommend some ways to change or ways to improve, rather than train on everything generic that Microsoft offers. They've got a million apps in. They're always trying to keep up with other consumer and business apps in the marketplace. There's a lot of nuance about when to use something. So it's a lot easier to say, well, what is your specific need for this role in this organisation? What's your current process? What are the people like? Are they going to be adept to changing something? Or, is it worth redoing this Excel process you've got and putting it onto Microsoft lists? I think it's quite a false economy, because you spend loads of stuff on training, nothing's going to change. And the most popular offer is, we'll come in, see how you're working together, recommend some ways of working better, and start the change. So we're running some workshops of like a constructive moan, not talking about any tech, just like, tell me about your job. Which bits of the job do you hate doing? It usually ends up being into tech anyway, rather than people, which is good. What's stopping you getting in the way of adding value? Letting people feel heard. So when you go back and say, right, with the plan of what we're going to implement, it's like, well, addressing everything that you've already laid out. Just take that plan and implement it themselves if it's easy, or if they want help. That's something we would do on a case-by-case basis. But yeah, the implementation's usually longer. As a rough rule of thumb, just to answer your question, I'd say like 1 to 3 weeks is that first sort of assessment bit. Depending, you could probably get a decent chunk of implementation done in like 1 to 3 months, depending on how much someone wants to buy off at any one time. We start with like the highest benefit first
as well, just keeping up to date. But yeah, you still consider yourself almost that translator between the business consultancy and the tech implementation.
Yeah, I think so.
Well done.
I guess that only started because I thought there wasn't a voice out there for normal people. I mean, techies call them end users, which I find myself slipping into, but tend to hate calling people users. It's a bit rude. But they're normal people doing a normal job. Most people don't care. They only care what's useful. So I'm sort of trying to translate, well, there's loads of these things coming out. Well, are they actually useful? So I'm sort of trying to translate in, like, of all the things that have come out, here's the thing that actually might be useful to save you time, because that's the aim.
There's definitely a move in between that, yes, you say the deep tech, proper tech, versus the, do you know what, I'm going to be left behind unless I pay attention, but I don't have time to pay attention because my core skills, my core job's something else. So it's the facilitation of the job, the bits and pieces, isn't it? And leaning on people to help with that is often an important thing.
It's interesting, you feeling of getting left behind if you don't get on now. And I think AI has sort of got to that sort of maturity now, where for decades it's been sort of built into stuff by stealth, but there's lots of marketing hype saying, this is AI, this is AI, this is AI. As a normal person would think about it as being AI. And I think now it's actually caught up to match the hype a little bit, where actually this is now good enough that it's actually going to save you quite a lot of time. And if you're not using it, you're going to be way behind someone that is using it. Like, they can literally do 3 hours in 30 seconds. That's a massive competitive advantage.
Absolutely. And I've been telling a lot of my clients, don't worry about putting a piece of AI in to solve it. It's still, what is the problem? What is the task it needs to do? There are many things that will get you there. And this AI inbuilt into so many of the packages that we're using all the time anyway. I mean, complete your sentence while you're writing an email.
Well, I don't think the big tech companies will let you get left behind, because they want your pound of flesh in the subscriptions. It'll be in everything. You won't be able to miss it.
But what is the job to be done? What is the task that you're trying to improve, isn't it? So think about that first, and the tools will invariably have the AI in it.
You're right, because on the other hand, there's the people that are trying to get ahead of the game and on the latest trend, and they're like, well, I'm going to use AI for everything. or how can we make this AI? So you don't like exactly like you're saying. There's no point putting it into. There's no point automating something that doesn't need to be automated. There's no point putting something into AI that you don't need to put into AI. And they spend loads of time like building bespoke models and training stuff themselves and blah blah. So I know that's not for normal people.
One of the things we were laughing with the team the other day. There's no point putting lipstick on a pig. So you kind of got to. What are we trying to do? If it's too complicated, let's make it simpler. There's no point automating nonsense. I know every Tuesday you have a little update in terms of here's the latest comparison or here's the latest change or the did you know. The fact that you've got enough content to do it every Tuesday shows you just how much one package almost changes. It's just amazing, isn't it? And that's without all of the other tools you typically use within a business.
Yeah, my YouTube channel straddled both of my current life and corporate life, where I only started doing videos because I wanted just in time training. You're showing them how to do it in a different way. They're going to forget. They've got other jobs to do. It's not their main focus. That's fine. They're going to have questions. So then they kept pinging me questions like, what do you say about so-and-so? So I could get a Microsoft video and just direct them to that because then they'll know. But all the Microsoft videos went into loads of other technical depth that they don't need to know at the start. So that's going to confuse them. Or showing them stuff like, we don't want them to do that. We've got that setting turned off. Or is there anything else that I can direct them to? And there wasn't. So I thought, I'll just make my own and then send them that. So that was internal. And I'd got a sort of company set up already called MeTime, which was to make a meeting timer app for the iPhone, just because in one of my previous jobs, I wanted to help people run meetings better. And there wasn't one, so I'll just make it. Can I reuse these videos on my YouTube channel? Because I only had 2 videos on just to demo the app. Because I don't think the information's out there. And HR was like, yeah, that's fine, but just take our brand off it and just do it yourself. And that's sort of how YouTube started, how to do a specific thing on a specific Microsoft app to help people save time. And then the call to action at the end was like, well, if you want to save more time at meetings, then go and get the app. Now I help other organizations do the same thing, either through YouTube for free or some consulting or some intermediary sort of training offers. Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a journey, but a very sensible journey, the logic behind it. But I do find the irony that you were developing an iPhone app to help with Microsoft products and Teams. Sorry, that just hit me as kind of quite amusing, because often never the twain will meet, either an iPhone user or an Android user, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe.
Well, interestingly, yeah. Like I always say to people, everything I own is Apple. I'm looking at about 10 different Apple products as I sit here right now. And I'm just pragmatic. I just want something that works, which I guess is why I went down Apple. I always say to people, I don't care what you use, but pragmatically, you're already paying for Microsoft, probably. If you're on Google, then yeah, I can't really help. Probably already paying for Microsoft. And there's loads of stuff you can do that's probably going to be better than the way you're working right now. But if it's not, cool, just go and use something else.
We're talking about the way you do things and the benefits you're offering to people, and I think that's marvellous. Coming back to your YouTube journey, what has being a YouTuber taught you about your business or your life? What about the crossovers there? Sharing your story, sharing your information?
Great question, Jane. I guess, first of all, I don't think of myself as a YouTuber, much as I don't think of myself as a runner, even though I've done half marathons, 10Ks and marathon. I don't feel up to speed on either to be a runner or a YouTuber. So it's not the main thing I do, which is always funny to me. Mm-hmm. So you often have comments of people putting on you've got the this light by my head. It's like, you should move your camera around so the light's not by your head. This isn't my entire job. I bought some extra lights after I was 4 years into doing it for 20 quid off Amazon. I'm not rearranging the whole desk around just to move the light off my head. So don't feel like I'm a YouTuber in that regard. It's people that take it way more serious than me. But all my business has come from YouTube, so that's been good. But yeah, I guess what lessons it's taught in life and business. I guess life-wise, it's just do it. It's no one cares. If you go back and watch anyone's first videos, they're terrible, including mine. I was doing some through the pandemic when my hair was it feels funny to think back we couldn't actually get a haircut, which is nuts. But yeah, everyone had mop head and still doing videos to get them out. So yeah, just start, just do it. No one's good at the start. Everyone sucks, and if you keep doing it, you'll suck less and less and less, up to the point where you suck so little that you'll actually be good. I'm not sure I've got there yet, but hoping to suck less than I did at the start at least. So yeah, it's just start. Got to have consistency, so that's good for life and business. Like if you want anyone to pay attention, you just got to be willing to just do stuff and keep doing it, even when you don't know if anyone's watching or paying attention. And you just got to keep putting it out there. Same as life and business, you put yourself out there, just believing that one day it'll take off. And I guess that's how all the algorithms work. And same as like a TV show, like people catch on to TV shows in like their 6th season and then go and watch it all from the start. Mm-hmm. Same with podcasts, same with YouTube, same with everything. It's like same with business. It takes a while just to get that momentum. No progress is linear, it's always exponential, whether it's exponentially increasing or exponentially declining. But yeah, just keep going. I guess it's talked a lot about marketing, because I guess all marketing, content marketing. I've tried a few ads in the past when I did my iPhone app. Just learning about stuff, and if you're spending your own money, I guess I think a lot of marketers are not actually for like a corporate job. Like, have you actually ever spent your own money marketing something? Because if you did, would you be spending 50 million quid on this marketing campaign? I'm not sure. So it's good to have like tried stuff out yourself, and when do you scale? What's it going to return? There's quite a lot of stuff in YouTube that's good, and I love learning stuff. So just learning how to produce videos, all the settings you need to do, putting stuff in there, all the lighting and stuff. There's so much depth, like a lot of stuff what you can get into, but just starting is the first is the key.
Yeah, and I think one of the points you made before cameras were rolling was almost your return on time, your return on investment of you personally, and when it's necessary to call in an expert, and the quality of what you get. And you were mentioning about the podcast and sending it to a guy, and you're going, wow, this is so much better, and the quality was better, and B, you saved that time to focus on the bits that you're good at for the clients. Sometimes it's useful to step back and go, call in an expert that understands Teams, that understands Zapier or whatever. We can do it ourselves, we can watch videos, but how much of our time are we using doing that? Because that's the only thing that we cannot get back anywhere, is our time. We can get our money, but we can't get back our time. So now that's interesting. Just before we finish up, I would love to ask you about the titles of some of your podcasts. Okay. The first one, there's one called Who's the Therapist? Performance, Values, or AI? What was the answer to that?
I can't remember, actually. But the podcast only came about because I like meeting people on LinkedIn. So I connect with random people off LinkedIn, because you never know where things go, which is always good to meet new people for business, but also for content and podcasts, and just meeting like minds and having a chat. Yeah. And he was, such a ball of energy. I thought it was really refreshing. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to do a podcast?" And he's like, "Yeah, cool. Got a booked time for record." He's like, "Oh, well, I know this other guy that might want to do it as well." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then he's, "I'll just ping him in now." Never met him. Okay. Cool, let's roll with it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I remember the Who's the Crappiest thing. I think it was about performance reviews and saying, that makes sense. Corporate performance reviews, do not miss from now having my own business. There's a few things that you think, such a waste of time. Performance reviews, everyone hates. If you're a manager having to do it for your people, and if you're a person having to do it for your manager, everyone hates it. And budgeting. It used to take like months and months budgeting. When you run your own business, you have a goal of what you want to get to, but like actually spending 3 months doing the budget is like, why is anyone doing this? So yeah, I think it's a bit of a joke about that one.
Yeah, lovely. Brilliant, thank you. So I'm glad I got to the end. And I loved also the Life is Too Short for Turds.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that was an old sales director that I used to work with. He was dead nice, really good. But he also had a side of like, well, if you're not right for the organisation, I just want you out. And was a bit ruthless. I guess you have to be quite ruthless to get quite high in a global organisation. One of his sayings is, if there's a turd in the pool, no one wants to swim. Which is true. It's like, well, no one's going to get in that pool if there's something floating in it. So you need to get rid of the turd. So like, if someone's like dead negative or they're not performing, it's going to bring everyone down, especially in sales where you need to be happy people sell. You need to be upbeat and you take a lot of knocks and stuff in sales. That's just not for us. So maybe you're better off elsewhere. But yeah, I always thought it's quite a visual thing to I get that.
Absolutely. I feel the right people in the right seats on the right bus. The visualization you've given is slightly different. Get rid of the toxic people. No, that's brilliant. No, thank you so much. Gavin, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. So where can people find you if they want to reach out and learn more and got a Teams question that they could do with answering?
Yeah, so if you just want help with a specific thing on a specific Microsoft app, then you can just go straight to YouTube. We can put videos on there every week, long form. We've got shorts going out every day, where you might get a little insight. So that's youtube.com/MeTime, I think, MEETIME. And yeah, if you don't know where to start, or if you want help for your whole organisation, then you can book a call. I'm happy to have a chat with anyone that thinks they've got a bit of pain that we might be able to help with in terms of collaborating a bit better. That's metime.com, MEETIME.com/call.
So thank you for joining us for this episode of Team Talks today. We hope you found that aha moment to help you on your journey towards automation and business growth. Don't forget to subscribe in the link below and tune in next time where we'll explore. Until then, remember to tame your tech and keep pushing those boundaries.